in the world does a bulimic, alcoholic woman end up publishing a book about style and manners?
You guys, I'm here with Laura Martella.
Author Laura Martella is here.
Meet Gentleman Norman and Laura Martella.
And become a leading clean food expert, teaching people to change their lives through the food they eat. My answer?
Still. You see me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it.
It's the power of God's grace.
The wrong guy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. I'm Laura Martella, and this is where we discuss all things health, hope, and gratitude. Today, I want to talk to you about falling in love with taking care of yourself. Before we get into it, he doesn't know that I'm going to do this, but I just want to tell Wayne, my producer, behind the scenes, I think this is episode 11 or 12. You guys, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. The lighting, I'm 58, try to make me look as good as possible. Just so appreciate you, Wayne, and your wisdom, your encouragement. And also, Wayne, let's tell them what you've been doing. I guess, can they hear you, or should I say it and you agree? All right, y'all. We've been at this a little over 2.5 months. He has lost 8 pounds. To lose 8 pounds in 2.5 months is sustainable. This is weight that is going to stay off of him because he has started cooking, drinking black coffee. What else are you doing?
Lemon water, ginger tea.
Lemon water, fresh ginger tea. Clean food.
That's pretty much it.
Hanging, what?
I haven't even introduced, exercise. I've just been walking.
Walking. 8 pounds. And this is the thing. Time is going to pass by every day. Every day you get a choice to make healthy decisions. So I want to encourage you. Just think 8 pounds is a lot when you think about it. But when you just change the way you're living. Have you ever been hungry, Wayne?
No.
Hunger is not a part of losing weight and getting healthy. Okay? All right. So today I was thinking that I would just share with you my practical, simple, and rather inexpensive lifestyle. Listen, we are all on a budget, and I don't want you to fall into this excuse of it's expensive to eat healthy. You guys, add up all your fast food, and not just your fast food, but your going out to dinner, like, I don't know, Cheesecake Factory or all the places that you go that aren't really fine dining, that really adds up. You running into 7-Eleven, you running in, and just all the processed foods that you buy at the grocery store, all your takeout, all your Uber Eats or what's Grubhub, add it all up. Okay? Because it's a lot of money. And if you just try to do more cooking at home, you're going to feel better. You're going to have control over your foods. You're going to have more family time, and you're going to lose weight. And when you do go out to dinner, this is what I work with mostly women. And I always say, tell your husbands good news, bad news. The good news, you're going to be cooking more. The bad news is if you're going out, you're fine dining. Now, what I mean by fine dining, not fancy, high end, but you want to go to restaurants that can accommodate your requirements, the number one being olive oil only, not a blend of canola oil and olive oil. So eliminate restaurants where you don't have the option of insisting on olive oil. I will do a whole show, if I can, at another time explaining to you how detrimental to your health canola oil and seed oils are. But for this podcast, take my word. The oils you want to use: olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. Okay? So what I'll do today is I just want to walk you through a day in my life. Everyone always wants to know, what do I eat? What do I drink? My clients love to look in my pantry and look in my refrigerator. And we do go out to eat together as part of my one-on-one programs. So they really get to know me and I really get to know them. Okay, and I'll also share my other forms of self-care and my routines and my rituals and the way that I just am filled up most of the time. So first thing in the morning, I go in and turn on my coffee, which is already ready from the night before. And then I drink my pre-made lemon water, room temperature, before I brush my teeth. I fluff my bed so that it looks good. I don't make it, but I straighten out the covers. I fluff it. I light my candle because I love a beautiful scent. And I love the act of lighting a candle. It brings me back to, I am here right now in this present moment. It's actually something I started when I got out of my 9-month last rehab. I knew I needed to be present. And I knew if I lit a candle, it's going to bring me to this moment because I'm not going to leave the house with a burning candle. That's how it started, was to bring me into the moment. And now to me, it's a luxury. I love a good, strong scented candle. So then I take Norman out and just out in the yard to tinkle. We don't go on our big walk. And I've started this new thing now that I have my outdoor kitty that I rescued from the Glen No-Kill shelter. His name is Fletcher. Norman and I sit out on the front porch with Fletcher, and it's usually like 5:30 or 6 a.m., and I sit and have my first cup of coffee. And during that time, the birds are starting to wake up. Like, it's really beautiful to just hear like the first bird that has a little peep, and then another different bird will have a different little peep. It's just precious to me, and I actually can listen to Fletcher purring and the smell and the taste of my coffee. And I've got my 2 little boys that I love so much just sitting with me. And I have a mental gratitude. It's not even a list. It's a feeling. It's just like a posture of gratitude. I look up at the trees. It's still not daylight, but I thank God for my sobriety, for my health, for this home. even when I lived in Los Angeles and I had leased a furnished apartment the last time I lived in LA. And, I was grateful for that place. And it was definitely different sights and sounds in Los Angeles, but I could hear the birds and I could see the light, the sky, the morning sky changing. I actually saw the morning sunrise from my high-rise apartment. So wherever you are in the world, look for the beauty and just be present. And that's a way to connect with yourself and a way to connect with God. So after my time with Fletcher, Norman and I come back in here and I smell, and the candle has filled the house with this beautiful scent. I get my second cup of coffee and I get back in bed and read Jesus Calling, which I've been reading for years, even before I became a Christian. I always it's relatable. It's called Jesus Calling, and it's like Jesus or God talking to you. And it's amazing how this writer, she's just a great writer. It's a daily meditation. Now, though, that I'm really into the Bible, I have my Bible with me, next to me, and I look up the verses that Jesus Calling is talking about, referring to. And there is something about the act of holding the Bible and opening the Bible and looking up the verses. It's like, God, I want to know your truth. Speak to me, because my head, and perhaps your head is like this as well, my head starts telling me I got to rush. My head is telling me you don't have time for this. My head is not in the present moment and gets to something I've got to do later today or 5 years from now. My head is a liar. And so I connect through the truth in God's word. And it just brings me back to center. And I love opening that Bible. So try it. I also journal. Not every day. This is not a rigid thing. It's just become a lifestyle. When I first got sober, it was a discipline. But once you start doing your rituals, whatever is going to work for you, try a few different things. But now it's just a lifestyle. It's a way of life. It's not like, oh, I have to do this. I just want to do this. So I do some journaling, usually a gratitude list. It's a Dear God letter, and it starts out with thank you. And then after that, I have ginger tea, fresh ginger tea, and a couple of spoonfuls of peanut butter, because after 2 cups of coffee, you need something on your stomach. So I have some peanut butter, and then I start getting ready for the day. I'll talk to you about the rest of my morning when we get back. Hi, everybody. I am discounting my first session from $150 to $75. That's a 90-minute session. I know everyone is struggling right now financially. Summer is coming up and everyone's wanting to lose weight. Please book your Zoom session or your in-person session through cleanfoodexpert.com. Let's get a plan for you. I want you to fall in love with taking care of yourself. I've got your back. Okay, so my morning routine, a day and what I think and do and eat. Very important. If you're drinking coffee, you probably need something on your stomach afterwards. Now, some people will say never do coffee on an empty stomach. I do my lemon water first, which I highly recommend because you know why, because I've told you a million times it flushes toxins out of your body. It's hydrating. There's so many reasons, but additionally, if you're going to drink coffee, it's a good idea to have the water first. There was someone that said that's not necessarily true, that you shouldn't have coffee on an empty stomach. So here's what I want to say to you. Be self-aware enough to find out what works for you, how you feel, just what works for you. I definitely need to have something on my stomach after 2 cups of coffee. So I just take a teaspoon several times and have a little bit of peanut butter. And then my ginger tea is fresh ginger tea. And I usually, just talking about being present again. I started this. I used to talk on the phone while I was walking Norman, and then I decided I don't want to do that. So I take Norman for his walk, and the birds are up and awake, and I usually carry my cup of ginger tea while I'm walking Norman, and I take my time with Norman most of the time and let him sniff and smell and tinkle on different things. It's important to let your dogs do that. It's like us scrolling. It's his time to scroll. I also heard, why do dogs have to tinkle on every little thing? And somebody said it's a pee mail. They're leaving a message to other animals, like, who's been here, and hey, I've been here. So, I take my time. I just hit the mic with my chin. And let Norman have his time. And I love sipping my ginger tea in my beautiful mug I love while walking Norman in my neighborhood in this beautiful place. So wherever you are, if you become present to your surroundings, you can enjoy that instead of multitasking. Okay, on that note, I Googled this morning what the Bible says about rushing and multitasking. There are 63 verses regarding rushing and multitasking. I teach my clients, rushing is your enemy. Rushing, you're not present. Rushing, you eat more than you really need to eat. Rushing, you're frazzled. It's a good way to get injured if you're rushing around. It's a good way to make yourself just uptight and anxious. So get up early and be intentional and be realistic with your schedule. I have to look at my clients' schedules, and we leave space in between appointments to catch your breath, to recenter. That is the importance of not rushing. And then I find it very interesting that multitasking is included with rushing in these Bible quotes. Now, I know multitasking was not the language that was used during the Bible, but I consider multitasking and rushing a good way to block yourself from being present. I will share just a couple of simple verses. James 1:8. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Matthew 6:3, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And then one more, Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. I wish I would have printed out more, but also, where Jesus was visiting Martha and Mary. Wayne, do you know what verse that is? But he says, Martha, Martha, you're anxious. And the deal is, Martha was upset with Mary because Mary was not rushing around helping serve and make everything perfect. Mary was sitting at Jesus's feet, listening and focused only on him. So think about yourself with your family and with your daily routines. Are you Mary, who's just focused on the main thing? Or are you Martha, being anxious, rushing around, trying to do everything? I think that's a really good visual. So back to me. Sorry about that. So what do I do? So while I am putting on my makeup, getting ready for the gym, usually if I'm going, and I try to go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. 5 is perfect for me. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. But I try to listen to an inspirational, motivational YouTube video. It just gets me kind of in business mode, in creativity mode, in fired up mode to go to the gym. When I get home from the gym, here's what I eat. Almost the same thing every day. Don't be afraid of eating the same thing. I do my 3 eggs scrambled with my organic packaged kale salad from Harris Teeter. You can buy just kale already, in a bag at Trader Joe's or wherever you live. So I do 3 eggs and kale scrambled. Sometimes it turns into an omelet. Sometimes I just mess it up and I just scramble it. Don't make a big deal out of things like that. I have some grain-free chips and either watermelon or berries. Sometimes I have an avocado at the same time. Sparkling water or plain water. When we get back, I'll continue with what I eat in a day. Hi, everybody. I am discounting my first session from $150 to $75. That's a 90-minute session. I know everyone is struggling right now financially. Summer is coming up and everyone's wanting to lose weight. Please book your Zoom session or your in-person session through cleanfoodexpert.com. Let's get a plan for you. I want you to fall in love with taking care of yourself. I've got your back. Okay, y'all, welcome back. After my breakfast is when I have, and it's really brunch. By the time I get back from the gym and everything, I would say it's like 10:30 or 11. It's like a late breakfast, early lunch. And I sit down at my desk, which is my dining room table. I have an office upstairs, but I like open, beautiful spaces to work and create and make phone calls. I just feel better. I have my Americano, which is 2 shots of espresso and hot water. I did invest in my own espresso maker because I was spending so much money every month getting my multiple Americanos. So, and I love making it at home. I want to say this to you while I'm working at home. I usually light a candle again. I feel that the olfactory sense, our sense of smell, is, I think there's research, but I can't quote it. It's the strongest of the senses, which brings up emotion for us. And for me, it just feels like I'm present. I am in a beautiful environment. And I also listen to bossa nova music through Alexa. And it's a vibe. I don't really like that word, but it's a vibe. And I just feel so positive and so grateful while I'm working, whether that's, you know, emails, administrative, personal finance, just scheduling things. And I do a lot of reading to provide information for my podcasts and for my clients. But that's what I do while I'm working. And then, so lunch and eating. Okay. I do food prep 2 to 3 times a week. Now, I'm going to get into the food and how much I eat, y'all. I don't think you would believe how much I eat, okay? Okay, let me tell you something. Side note. I tried listening to a wellness podcast. This well-known wellness expert talking to another wellness expert about what they eat. And they were talking about macros, micros, grams. It was so boring, and I'm so passionate about this. I am going to speak to you right now as a middle-aged lady to other women or men that just want to know what in the world to eat and how much to eat, okay? I'm going to keep it simple. For example, when I make my little burger bites that you all know about, I do 2 pounds of ground beef at a time because if I'm taking the time to prepare food, I want to make plenty. It's about saving time during food prep. I will tell you that I personally consume probably a half a pound to 3/4 of a pound of ground beef in a day if I'm eating ground beef. If I'm doing shrimp, when I go to our local seafood store, they know my order. I order 25 shrimp. In one sitting, I will probably have half of that in a lunch. My shrimp, all I do is rinse them and then I saute them in olive oil, salt, and pepper, a squeeze of lemon. That's it. So my lunch consists of protein, either the shrimp, the burgers. Sometimes I have a turkey breast that I've roasted. Here's how you do a turkey breast. It's so simple. Olive oil, salt, and pepper, 400 degrees for an hour. Then you've got a turkey breast. You have lots of protein right there. I fill up, so my lunch is going to be protein, and I try to do a green vegetable. My vegetables are my kale every day, sauteed spinach, or steamed asparagus, steamed green beans, steamed broccoli. Sometimes I've food prepped ahead of time and I have broccoli, cauliflower, tricolor carrots, Sometimes I throw onions in there. I just olive oil, salt, and pepper. It's really not that complicated, and it's not that time consuming. So my lunch, I think you have a good idea of what I eat for lunch. It's my protein, one of my veggies that I do every day, and then I eat grain-free chips. I gave up my dark chocolate, y'all. I'm not asking you to give it up, but for me, I was going overboard, and I see how sugar just makes you hungry and makes you crave more. And I feel so much better without it, but I still need something sweet. So I've discovered some grain-free cookies, and I have a couple of them. And that's my lunch. Stay tuned, and we'll finish out a day in the life of me. Hi, everybody. I am discounting my first session from $150 to $75. That's a 90-minute session. I know everyone is struggling right now financially. Summer is coming up, and everyone's wanting to lose weight. Please book your Zoom session or your in-person session through cleanfoodexpert.com. Let's get a plan for you. I want you to fall in love with taking care of yourself. I've got your back. Welcome back. All right, so we've gotten through morning rituals, gym, how I work, what I have for lunch. I usually have a client or two in the afternoons, or I have a business appointment, which is usually at a coffee shop. So you know what I get at the coffee shop. My days consist of a recovery meeting. I try to get in a beach walk this time of year. What I want to make you all realize is all the stuff that I'm talking about, it doesn't cost a lot of money. Light a candle. Buy flowers every week. Declutter your space. Even if you have messy kids and a messy spouse, have one area that's yours, that's going to fill you up, and just make it nice. Enjoy yourself. Savor the moments of your day. It's the moments that we find joy in that make our days better, and they add up to a life well lived. There's no time like the present. So my dinners are usually, unless I have a dinner date, I eat pretty early because I'm just hungry early. I want you to really try to stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. You've got to give your body a break from working. Digesting food is your body working. So start eating earlier. And I end up having basically the same thing. I mean, one of my proteins, which turkey, beef, I do a pork tenderloin or shrimp or steak, another vegetable. That's it. If I cannot get satisfied, we all have those days where we're like, kind of grazing and you don't know, I just want something else. If I'm in that, I just want something else, I will treat myself. It's delicious and fulfilling, and I've talked about it before. I'll do my brown rice cake, my clean nut butter, and a drizzle of local raw honey. And then I am truly done. It's like a little dessert. and it's so good for you. So that's the food situation. And I think the most important thing that I want to convey to you, lean in to food prepping. You can call it cooking if you want. I say if you can Google, you can cook. You just have to want to. You don't need beautiful, healthy cookbooks. You need a well-stocked kitchen. And I know, look, I'm just feeding me. And I used to really sometimes dread, oh shoot, I've got to make food. I don't have any protein for the day and I'll have to, food prep. But I've actually flipped it in my mind. Food prepping is a beautiful way to love yourself. It's a form of self-care, and it's a form of loving your family and having healthy boundaries with your family on telling them, hey, y'all, we're going to make some changes around here. And don't let the fact, if they're not going to do it with you, you do you. It is possible. You're really in charge of feeding yourself. If you can get your family on board, great. If not, take care of yourself. Wait and see what the ripple effect of the changes in you will be. But, try to encourage your family by cooking some really healthy foods. So a well-stocked kitchen, quiet time, being present. Let's talk about this. If you're not a gym person, or if you are starting this wellness journey and all you can do is walk, like Wayne said, he just started walking. Walk. Do not underestimate the benefits of walking. Commit to at first, if you're just starting and you actually have joint pain and probably a lot of weight to lose, just move. Just move your body. I know it can be super overwhelming. I really do know. I haven't said on this podcast, but, I haven't always been this healthy. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering bulimic. When I checked into my 6th rehab, I was a size 12, and I hated my insides. I hated my outsides. I couldn't get one healthy day, y'all. So I just want to encourage you to start where you are and know that you're worth it. And like we said at the beginning about Wayne's journey, the days add up. The days are going to pass. You can either be making healthy choices and start changing slowly, or you can just keep on doing what you're doing. You'll probably gain more weight in 8 weeks. So just make these small changes, small steps. Baby steps are steps. The other thing, it's human nature, and I don't know why. I was just talking to a client about this. We start doing really well, and then we just fall off the beam. No, you're going to fall off the beam. Just don't stay off the beam. Just get right back on, okay? That's what I want you to do, is fall in love today with taking care of yourself. Let me say this right here, right now. Summer is upon us. Everyone is wanting to lose weight. Here's what I'm doing. I want to help as many people as possible. And I know so many people are struggling financially. Businesses are down. I mean, every kind of business is down. It's an election year. I am cutting my fee in half. You can book a session with me on Zoom or in person if you're local. $75 for a session with me as opposed to $150. And we're going to talk about you, and we're going to get you on a path. You've heard today, my lifestyle is not complicated and it's not expensive. You just have to make your self-care a priority for you. All right? Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe. Please visit my website, cleanfoodexpert.com, and follow me on Instagram, laura.martella. We're now putting the podcast on my LinkedIn, Laura Martella, Facebook, Laura Martella. And if you like this and you think it will help someone else, please share it with them. Have a beautiful and healthy day.